And here's the headband I'm going to be using today to try to put it in a puff. So it's dry. I spritz it very well with water. Then I use my fingers to kind of finger detangle it back into place. It's not perfectly detangled, but it really doesn't have to be, as long as there are no knots. Sometimes these pony headbands are kind of tight. Also use a stocking. You could cut a leg off of a stocking and then tie the hair back with that, or a ribbon or whatever. But all I do is I slide it back into place. This time I made her puff closer to the back. If I wanted it to be higher up like it was in the picture that I posted on the blog, I would pull the headband up and forward. What I do is I take a boar's bristle brush like this, and I very lightly brush her edges into place. I just push this forward to kind of hide the headband. This is a bottle of plain water, Fantasia IC gel, castor oil, a natural boar's bristles brush, and this was a trouser sock, kind of like the same material as tights, so you could cut off the leg of a tight to do this. I thought it was too tight and hard to stretch as a sock, so I took the sock and I cut it down both sides like this. And then I cut the tip off in half. It stretches really well, and I'm going to use this to fashion her puff. This is going to be like the headband, and then I'll tuck the ends under. So I start by spritzing her hair. Her hair is somewhat tangled, but I don't think there are any knots in here, or if there are, there are very few. My goal is not to make her hair completely detangled so that a comb will slip through, but I do want all the strands going in one direction.
Okay, Mommy.
Okay, what I'm done. I want to make sure that I get the front nice and wet. I've learned from experience with her to do a high puff because her hands are always in her hair, and the minute it goes into a puff, it will be messed up. I use the castor oil to make a barrier between the gel and her hair. I'm not saying that the gel is necessarily harmful to her hair. Could you sit back, please? I just noticed that the castor oil just locks in the moisture of the water before I put gel on top of it, even though I don't think IC gel is very drying. And I'm not using it all over her head. I'm only using it along her front edges to keep it smooth. Next, I'll do the gel. See, about that much. Both hands. And then I'm just smoothing it down her edges. This is for a smoother look. Then extremely gently, I'm going to use the brush just to make sure all the hairs along her edges are all going in the same direction, to give the illusion that we're working with some perfectly detangled hair here, which we're not, but it's okay. So to start, I'll put this stocking along her head and tie it like a headband. 1 knot, right? Then I'll slide it back, tighten, pull the ends, tighten, slide it back, tighten, slide the back up, tighten, slide the front back, tighten, and I'm probably going to keep it right there in the front. So I slide the back, tighten, slide the back up, tighten, slide the back up, slide the back up, tighten, see that? And that's about good. And now I will do a bow tie so that when it's time for me to take it out, it won't knot. See that? I could leave that the way it is, but I like to tuck the ends of the bow under like this. Okay. And then I take her hair and I fluff it out to cover. You see the front of her hair. And this final step that I'm going to do, I would do this with a scarf, but since I didn't bring one out, I'll use this. The final thing you want to do is take a scarf and tie it around her edges for about 20 minutes or so to set the gel parts down. And also it will help, don't touch please, it will help her not, even if she does scratch her head or touch her head, it won't mess up what you did while it dries. Okay, then I'll come back and take it off once it's set so you can see the final result. As you can see, as we were waiting for the hair to dry, Mocha Girl 3 has been rolling around the floor, laying on the bed, and she smushed and fuzzed the back right up. And so when you're doing this with, if you're doing this with a child as young as mine, you really have to keep your sense of humor, because it's not like she's going to keep her hair untouched as an adult would while trying to wait for a style like this to set. So I'm taking the scarf off. I put a second scarf on top of the first one because I noticed it was sliding back because of the fabric. So that scarf. And this is the second scarf. And this, let's not touch it. See, immediately her hand goes to her hair, and it is her hair. All right, look up for me, Mocha Girl. Look up. And here it is, the smooth down edges. So that's just a thought. I'm not see, look, she scratched it up, messed it right up. I had a different thought about this style. She keeps putting her hands in it and smushing it up, so we're going to the museum and I don't think it's gonna last. And I don't want to be bothering her all day, so I'm gonna turn it into 2 puffs. Well, a part already exists because I tend to part her hair like this a lot. And her hair is still wet inside. Is I will gather this and use a ponytail holder with no bands, like that. And that's the back puff. For the front, it's still gelled down from before, so that ought to keep it nice and neat. And I'll do an extra twist here because it's a lot less hair. So you look gorgeous. I think it's even more age appropriate for her.